sorry, Rohit. Last general elections, the battle for the Liberal Party. It came third. Never before it had ever happened. So that showed that Liberals were rejected totally. The popular MPs somehow managed to get through and remain in power. But the rest of it was wiped out. It's very nice to see you here as a Liberal. Congratulations. What is your plan for the whole country, for the Liberals to revive and form a government?
Well, I appreciate the question. And first of all, what I will point out is that it wasn't just the last election that was difficult for the Liberal Party. If you think back in the history, in the year 2000, the Liberal Party got elected to a majority government with 170-some seats. 172 seats. Then the very next election, we were down to 135. The election after that, we were down to 100. The election after that, we were down to 77. The election after that, we're down to 35. I mean, that's a straight line. It ends up at one seat. Because I'm not losing Pepino. But the fact is, the decline too, and you're going to but the fact is that the Liberal Party had to change. And it's actually, there are not a lot of advantages to being the third party in the House of Commons and having only 35 seats, but I'll tell you one. There are tremendous opportunities to draw in fresh new candidates, people like Arnold, who are deeply committed to serving their communities. Perhaps the Liberal Party had turned too much inward, was more focused on infighting amongst ourselves, arguing over who gets to drive the bus, rather than where the bus is going. There are a lot of challenges we faced, but the one thing that has been very, very clear to me is that rolling up our sleeves and staying positive and outworking everybody else has been very, very successful for us. In the last round of by-elections in the fall, the Liberal Party not just won 2 seats of 4, but we massively increased our vote total in every single one of those. In these elections, we're not only going to hold one of the seats that we've had with an extraordinary candidate to an even stronger degree, I'm predicting, than we were before, but we're going to pick up Trinity Spadina, take it away from the NDP, or we're going to do very, very well out in Alberta. And this isn't because we're overconfident. This is because we are rolling up our sleeves and working incredibly hard to earn Canadians' trust once again. And in the numbers of volunteers, the numbers of donors, the numbers of people coming out to become members and supporters of the Liberal Party, we're seeing this right across the country. People are excited about politics once again. People are excited about the positive movement we're building. And I cannot tell you how excited I am and inspired by the Canadians I meet from coast to coast to coast who are incredibly happy that the Liberal Party is there once again to focus on building a better government for this country, not just a different government. Yes.
This riding has been a very strong Liberal riding for the last 25 years. So when we, without mentioning Jim's name, we can't talk about the riding. So Liberal Party should be very thankful to him for keeping his support and thing for many years. So I need to hear from you your open and honest opinion, comments about Jim.
Well, you don't get to, as you say, hold on to a riding for 25 years without being deeply committed to it and working extremely hard to build support from across all different communities in the riding. And Jimmy has certainly done that through his life, and I wish him nothing but the very best in his next challenge of becoming a strong representative at the Municipal Council for this riding. I know his decision was a difficult one for him because he was truly committed to being an MP, but he also recognizes with family challenges that he wanted to be here at home. So as I stood up in the House of Commons a number of weeks ago, I thanked Jimmy for his service. I wish him the best moving forward. And I certainly know that although Jimmy's boots are hard to fill, I know that Arnold is going to do an extraordinary job of serving this community with all the strength and all the values that this community deserves.
I represent the South Asian community newspaper Monsoon Journal. Continuing the question of Mr. Abhay Wardner, has the government done enough to pressurize the Sri Lankan government or condemn some of the atrocities that have taken place? If not, what more should be done?
Well, I think that's a great question, not just about the Sri Lankan situation, but about Canada's role in the world in general. We are a modest-sized country that doesn't have a tremendous amount of economic or cultural or even political weight to throw around, but we've always been one of those countries that other countries look to see what the right thing to do was. We were always a force for values and for positive change and influence in the world, and that's something that I continue to believe that Canada needs to do. But the best way for us to do that, and the way we need to do that, is by engagement in multilateral forums and institutions. So the role we take, for example, around the Commonwealth, should have been one much more active in coordinating with other Commonwealth leaders a united response to Sri Lanka's behavior, the Sinhalese government's behavior. And on that, Canada made a strong statement all on its own, but didn't coordinate nearly enough in a multilateral fashion. Similar issues happen around conflict areas in the world where Canada isn't speaking as strongly in multilateral institutions as we used to, whether it be Francophonie or even having lost a seat at the UN Security Council for the first time ever in Canada's history. So for me, it really is very much about looking how to increase our weight by working amongst communities of nations to put forward and to push and to put pressure on regimes that are not respecting basic human rights, and that's something we should continue to do. Thank you for your question.
One more question, Mr. Trudeau, that
I'm not planning to talk out the clock, but a few people have asked multiple questions. Does anyone else who hasn't asked a question ask a question? Because we're getting near the end.
I have a question. My name is Arnold from El Centro Spanish newspaper. The Spanish-speaking community has traditionally always been supportive of the Liberal Party. And there's some districts, primarily, we mentioned New York Centre, that were traditionally liberal, but in the last riding, they switched to conservative. Now, you had somebody running that was a Spanish-speaking representative at that point, and I thought it was something that was good because it would bring out the voters and kind of turn over the voter apathy. Now that he's no longer in the contest, how do you plan to reach out to the Spanish-speaking community again? I think their major challenge is facing voter apathy and getting them to come out and vote and support.
Well, I mean, that really is at the heart of my open nominations pledge, where I encouraged people of all different backgrounds to come out and step up and get involved in the Liberal Party of Canada and put themselves forward as nomination contestants. But ultimately, it's an exercise in democracy where we have to make sure that all the various voices are being heard. Now, obviously, to take a great example, Arnold here is a member of the Chinese-Canadian community, but I've spent an awful lot of time with him meeting with constituents of all different backgrounds and all different festivals, and it's extremely important to be able to be a strong voice for all communities within the riding and across the country. You know, on a personal level, I got that question an awful lot when I was running in my very first election in 2008. My district of Papineau has a very strong community of Spanish speakers, a strong Haitian population, a strong Greek population, a very large South Asian population, and the French-Canadian, traditional French-Canadian community is a minority in many ways within that. But I'm from that community. So the question was, well, how does someone who is not of the identity get people's votes when I was running against a strong Greek candidate, a strong South Asian candidate, and a strong Haitian candidate? Well, my answer is politics shouldn't be so much about identities, it should be about values. It should be about standing up for the issues that are of concern to everyone within the riding. And yes, it helps to have familial and cultural connections, but ultimately we should be choosing the person who's going to reflect our identities and our concerns to the greatest possible way. And that, for me, is what the Liberal Party has excelled at. I mean, we have a great diversity as we're building this team of people from all sorts of different communities. But our identity, the DNA of the party, is to respect the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and people's capacity to be proud of all the different identities we bring to this country while building a better future for us all. So I certainly hope that in the GTA and across the country we have some members of the Hispanophone community come forward. But I also know that members of the Spanish community will always have strong advocates for their community within people like Arnold and others who understand how important our diversity is as a source of strength, not a source of weakness.
There you go.
Yes.
I'm not from the media, but I am a community leader. I just wanted to clear the air. I have been hearing rumors that the Liberal, you were talking about democracy. Now, I have been hearing from so many people that the Liberal Party has a favorite candidate for the nomination. I just want to clear the air because my daughter wanted to.